My fingers trace the outline of a photograph on the nightstand. It is us, smiling, caught in a moment of pure, unadulterated joy from a summer holiday years ago. Liam, my Liam, his arm around my waist, his head tilted slightly, his eyes sparkling with a love I once believed was eternal, unbreakable. A love I shattered. The silence of the apartment presses in on me, heavy and suffocating. Much like the secret I carry, a secret that has burrowed deep into the marrow of my bones. It started subtly, as these things often do. A whisper of discontent I chose to ignore. A slight shift in the air that I attributed to the mundane rhythm of long-term commitment. Liam and I had been together for 7 years. 7 years of shared dreams, laughter, quiet evenings, and the comforting predictability of routine. We had built a life, a beautiful, sturdy edifice that I, in my blindness, managed to dismantle with a careless, selfish hand. His name was Ethan. He was new at the office, a charming, intelligent man with a quick wit and eyes that seemed to see right through my carefully constructed facade. We started with polite conversations about work, then moved to shared lunches, and soon those lunches stretched longer, filled with discussions that went beyond project deadlines. He listened, truly listened, in a way I realized Liam hadn't in a long time, or perhaps in a way I hadn't allowed Liam to. We talked about books, aspirations, fears, the quiet anxieties that hum beneath the surface of adulthood. There was an intellectual intimacy that was intoxicating, a spark I hadn't realized I was missing until it was ignited. I remember the first time I felt it, that undeniable pull. We were working late on a presentation, the office deserted save for us. The fluorescent lights hummed, casting a sterile glow, but his presence made the room feel warm, alive. He leaned over my shoulder to point something out on the screen, and his arm brushed mine. A jolt, a sudden electric current surged through me. My breath hitched. I pretended to be engrossed in the data, but my mind was reeling. That night, I went home to Liam, kissed him goodnight, and felt an unfamiliar tightness in my chest, a knot of guilt beginning to form. The guilt became my constant companion, a shadow dogging my every step. I would lie next to Liam, his steady breathing filling the room, and my thoughts would drift to Ethan, to his laugh, to the way he furrowed his brow when he was concentrating, to the easy comfort of his company. I started making excuses to stay late at work, to attend networking events I normally would have skipped. Each lie was a tiny chip away from the foundation of my relationship with Liam, a silent betrayal. I told myself it was harmless, just friends, just conversation, just a little spark to make my otherwise predictable life feel exciting again. I rationalized it, compartmentalized it, buried the truth under layers of denial. But the truth had a way of clawing its way to the surface. One evening, after a particularly intense discussion with Ethan about our deepest insecurities, we found ourselves alone in the empty conference room, the city lights twinkling outside the window like a million silent witnesses. The air between us was thick with unspoken words, with a tension that was both terrifying and alluring. He reached out, gently touched my hand, and in that moment the dam broke. The kiss was desperate, fervent, filled with a longing I hadn't known I possessed. It was wrong, I knew it was wrong, but in that instant, all my carefully constructed boundaries crumbled. The world narrowed to just his touch, his taste, the intoxicating rush of forbidden desire. Afterward, a wave of sickening clarity washed over me. What had I done? My heart pounded a frantic rhythm against my ribs, a drumbeat of shame and exhilaration. The affair began not with a bang, but with a series of small, incremental concessions. Each clandestine meeting, each stolen moment, each whispered secret, chipped away at my soul. I became a different person, fragmented. One part of me was the loving partner to Liam, feigning normalcy, listening to his day, sharing mundane anecdotes. The other part was consumed by Ethan, by the thrill of the illicit, the escape into a world where I felt seen, desired, understood in a way I had convinced myself Liam no longer understood me. I watched Liam carefully, searching for signs that he suspected. His unsuspecting nature was both a comfort and a torment. He would talk about our future, about vacations, about potential house renovations, and each word would stab at me with a fresh pang of guilt. How could I look him in the eye, knowing the depth of my deception? The weight of the secret grew heavier with each passing day, pressing down on me, making it hard to breathe. Food lost its taste. Sleep became a restless, nightmare-filled pursuit. My laughter felt hollow, my smiles artificial. I was a puppet, performing a life I no longer truly inhabited. There were moments of genuine happiness with Ethan, moments where I could almost forget the lies. He made me feel alive, vibrant, like the woman I used to be before the routine had dulled my edges. But those moments were always fleeting, overshadowed by the gnawing guilt, the constant fear of discovery. The highs were exhilarating, but the lows were devastating, leaving me hollowed out and disgusted with myself. The turning point came when Liam started asking questions. Not direct accusations, but subtle inquiries. "You've been working late a lot, honey. Everything okay? You seem a little distant lately. Is something on your mind?" Each question was a needle prick, a reminder of the fragile facade I maintained. The constant vigilance, the careful choreography of my lies began to wear me down. I was living a double life, and the strain was immense. My conscience, long suppressed, began to scream. One rainy Tuesday afternoon, I met Ethan for lunch. He was talking about a future for us, a life together. He painted a picture of happiness, of freedom from the constraints of my current life. He spoke of love, a love he believed was pure and true. And as he spoke, I looked at his earnest face, and for the first time, I saw not a solution, but another layer of complication, another consequence. My mind flashed to Liam, to his unwavering trust, his quiet strength, his steadfast love, the man I was betraying, the man who deserved so much more than my deceit. I left the restaurant, the words, "I can't do this anymore," echoing in my head, though I hadn't said them aloud. The rain lashed down, mirroring the storm raging inside me. I walked for hours, not knowing where I was going, the cold rain a welcome shock against my burning skin. The image of Liam's face, full of love and trust, haunted me. I had to end it. I had to face the truth, not just for Liam, but for myself. I couldn't live with the charade any longer. Ending things with Ethan was difficult, painful in its own way, but it was nothing compared to the monumental task that lay ahead. I went home, the key feeling impossibly heavy in my hand. Liam was in the living room, reading just as he always was on Tuesdays. He looked up, a warm smile gracing his lips when he saw me. "Hey, you're home early," he said, his voice laced with affection. His genuine warmth was a dagger to my heart. I sat opposite him, my hands clammy, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst through my chest. The words caught in my throat, hot and bitter. How do you tell someone you love, someone who has given you their entire heart, that you have broken it into a million pieces? How do you confess to such a profound betrayal? Liam, I began, my voice barely a whisper, trembling uncontrollably. He put down his book, his brow furrowing slightly, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. His eyes, usually so full of gentle understanding, now held a hint of concern. I took a deep breath, the air burning my lungs. I have something to tell you. The confession poured out of me, a torrent of shame, regret, and agonizing truth. Each word was a fresh wound, tearing at the fabric of our shared history. I watched his face as I spoke, saw the slow dawning of comprehension, then the disbelief, followed by a crushing wave of pain. His eyes, once sparkling with love, grew wide with shock, then narrowed with hurt, finally filling with an unshed sorrow that tore at my very being. He didn't yell, he didn't scream. He just sat there listening, his face slowly draining of all color, his body rigid with disbelief. When I finished, the silence was deafening, suffocating. The air crackled with unspoken grief. He finally looked at me, his gaze hollow, devoid of the warmth I had cherished for so long. "Why?" he asked, his voice barely audible, broken. "Why would you do this?" There were no easy answers, no rational explanations that could justify the pain I had inflicted. I tried to explain the discontent, the feeling of being lost, the misguided search for something I thought was missing. But even as the words left my lips, they sounded hollow, pathetic, selfish. They were excuses, not reasons. The days that followed were a blur of tears, accusations, apologies, and an overwhelming sense of loss. Our beautiful home, once a sanctuary, became a battleground of pain and recrimination. The life we had built, brick by painstakingly placed brick, crumbled before my eyes. The trust, once so absolute, was irrevocably shattered. There was no going back, no mending what I had broken. Liam moved out a few weeks later. The apartment felt vast and empty without him, a hollow shell reflecting the emptiness in my heart. His absence was a constant aching reminder of my infidelity, the colossal mistake that cost me everything. I lost him, yes, but I also lost a part of myself. The woman I once was, the woman who believed in absolute fidelity and unwavering commitment, was gone, replaced by a shadow, haunted by regret. I look at the photograph again. The smiles captured there seem almost mocking now, a relic from a past that feels impossibly distant. The woman in that picture, so full of innocent joy, had no idea of the heartache she would cause, the love she would carelessly discard. The lessons learned were harsh, etched onto my soul with indelible ink, each stroke a painful reminder of my choices. Trust, once broken, is an almost impossible thing to rebuild. A fragile glass that shatters into countless shards, never quite whole again. Love once betrayed rarely recovers. Even if forgiveness is offered, the scar remains, a constant testament to the wound. And the consequences of selfishness, of seeking fleeting excitement at the expense of genuine connection, are profound and everlasting. The silence of this apartment, a silence I created, is my constant companion, a stark reminder of the devastating cost of my betrayal. I carry this burden, and I will for a long, long time. The image of Liam's broken face is forever seared into my memory, a testament to the love I destroyed and the person I became in the process. Each morning I wake with a hollow ache, a vivid phantom limb of a life that once was, a life I carelessly amputated. There are no easy remedies for this kind of pain, no shortcuts to healing the damage inflicted not just upon another, but upon one's own sense of self-worth and integrity. The mirror reflects a stranger sometimes, someone I barely recognize, burdened by the heavy cloak of regret and the profound loneliness that comes from having lost something truly irreplaceable through one's own actions. I am left with the echoes of a love I once held and the cold, hard truth of what it truly means to break a heart, including my own.